So, dear respected Thai, dear community, good morning, everybody. Today is the 8th of December in the year 2024, and we are in the Healing Spring Weekend Retreat. And at the same time, the monastic, we are also in the 3 months retreat. We have privilege to have 3 months without going anywhere. Saying no to all invitation, so that we can stay at home for 3 months, and also to strengthen, to restore our concentration, to go deep into our practice once a year, and to help to facilitate that to be possible. We do our best to stay at home as much as possible, and even around the monastery we make our own boundary so that we don't go out from that boundary. This is pretty much related to what the Buddha has taught us, that the body and mind are one, they cannot be separated. So to help our mind, we can ask help from the body. So physical condition can support the mental condition. And this is very interesting, because sometimes we think that we have to analyze and to think until we got the answer how to take care of our mind. And of course, in the teaching of the Buddha, there's a saying also that the mind can only heal the mind. So you can use the mind to heal the mind. But also now we know that the body and the mind interact, then we also can ask help from the body. This is also a concrete practice of non-discrimination, and to help our view, to heal our view on separation. Maybe we separate our mind from our body, and to think that our mind is more important, our mental health is more important than our body. But that is not the case. If your body is not healthy, your mind also cannot be peaceful. Yeah. So this is something that we are all invited to look at, to appreciate and to respect both our body and our mind. And to also receive this good news that the body can help the mind and the mind can help the body. And what we have in the present moment, it is very depending on what we consume before. Because what we consume is who we are today. You don't feel hungry right now because you eat breakfast. Maybe you feel a little bit hungry right now because you didn't eat breakfast. Yeah. So your present moment is pretty much related to the past, very closely. Because your existence of the presence, it stand on the past. And your present now become the foundation for the future. So this is a very interesting view to look at, that the past related to the present and the present related to the future. So we can heal the separation of time too. So from your arrival day, from the first morning sitting meditation, we have heard about the awareness of putting ingredient in our body and our mind. And yesterday, the Dharma talk from Thai shared with us how we can nourish our mind and our body, or nourish our body through the walking meditation. How much depth we can touch just through the physical movement, actually. And this morning we also heard about the consumption, the food that we eat for our body. And last night we also have a text with a very graphic images, very scary images, which is the four nutriment. It is very strong. Probably it is because food is something very, it's very instinctive. It's very related to our self-defense mechanism. In the retreat, we always say that the things that we want to prepare well is the place to sleep and the food to eat. If these two things is good, then the program will be flowing very well. Yeah. And actually in big retreat, especially when we receive like 500 people or something like that, the dining hall becomes is a place that is full of emotion. Because when you go to queue, you start to worry about, is the food enough if I'm like very far away behind? Will I get the food when I arrive on the table? And when you arrive on the table, then the food mostly all finished. You also have another feeling. So the dining hall can be a very emotional place. And so that is why I think the Buddha gave a very strong image for us to contemplate on our consumption, so that we have agency to be courageous to look at how we consume, and we don't have to take decision right away, but at least we are able to motivate the mindfulness inside of us to look at how we consume, so that we may have insight one day and to decide what we can do for our own benefit. According to the teachings of the Buddha, we can consume in 4 ways. There are 4 ways that we eat most of the time. The first is the edible food, the food that we consume, like our meals. That is the edible food that we go through our mouth, our digestion system. And the second is sense impression. Sense impression is the things that you connect with your senses, with your eyes, with your nose, with your ear, with your tongue, with your body. So everything that we see, we eat. When you see an advertisement, you eat that advertisement. When you see the movie, you eat that movie. Yeah. And the third one is the volition. It's our intention, our fire, our inner fire towards our life. That can give us energy. So our energy of being is not really pretty much depends on our food only, but also our mind, our aspiration. And the fourth one is consciousness. What kind of consciousness are we consuming? And we can measure it, we can identify. And this morning, I don't have much time to explain all of them, but I will do my best to explain a little bit each so that we can have idea. And the purpose of this talk is not to make you understand fully. This is just part of the introduction of new ideas of looking, new way of looking on how we live. You don't have to believe it directly, but this is good to just exposed to it and take your time to explore and to look deeply. Is it true? So the Buddha's teaching is always an invitation. It's not a command. It's always invite you to look at the way of seeing things. And then we take that responsibility whether we want to try it or not, because everything is just an offering. When someone offers you something, you want, you take it. If you don't want, you leave it, and the other people can take it. So this is the spirit of the Buddha's teaching. So the edible food, we have listened to many texts this weekend, and you may explore more about that. And nowadays there are many articles and texts you can find how to live more healthily, more balance in nutriment, and etc. But the way we eat is very important. Here, we have a chance to eat 3 times a meal, 3 times a day, 3 meals a day, and we eat without cell phone, and we eat without television. We eat with just friends. We eat with our friends around, and our food. And we are given a space of silence so that we can really connect with our food, not even with the person in front of us. Yeah. And then after that, after sometimes we have a chance to have a chat, to connect with the real person in the real time. So that we really have a quality time with ourselves. And you may experience a different feeling compared to when you eat with the podcast, when you eat with the video, when you eat with the movie, or when you eat with the music. It's a very different feeling. Yeah. So this is also an invitation. So this weekend maybe give you some contrast about things, and for you to bring home to reflect and see what you can do for yourself to make your life quality a little bit better. Eating can be mundane, eating can be very worldly activity. It is not seen as a spiritual action. But when we live mindfully, the eating can only be spiritual. So in our practice, we also not separating between mundane and profane. We are not separating the worldly activity and spiritual activity. They both interact. So when we eat, we see very clearly that all the food that we eat, they are not separate from us. They are not just plants. Yeah. For those of you who are not vegetarian, they are not just animals that you eat. They are also yourself. Exactly like the image of your child in the text. Because everything that you eat, it becomes your body and become your mind too. It's not only become the body, but also become the mind. Right now, we sit together, you listen to me, maybe you also think. Sometimes you listen to me and sometimes you think. Yeah. And that thinking needs some energy. You need energy to think. And that energy probably from the milk that you drink this morning, or from the fruit that you eat, or from the bread that you eat. So the food that we eat become ourselves. It become our action too. So the relationship between what we eat and who we are is very, very close. And that is why when we eat, there is a second contemplation that we should eat in gratitude, so that we can fully accept, receive the food. And the whole time of eating, we can have gratitude. And gratitude is a very important ingredient for happiness, because you really get in touch with the present moment, and you feel thankful to what you have. You feel fulfillment in that very moment. And this is something that we look for very far away, something called fulfillment. But actually we can practice fulfillment every meal, every action. We can touch fulfillment. Yeah. And fulfillment is the matter of being watered in our mind, so we can water as much as we can to feel fulfilled. When we eat, we also see many things come together in the plate. We can see the Mother Earth, we can see the sunshine, we can see the insects, we can see all the things that make that things happen on our plate, including the cook, including those who sell the food, etc., etc. So when we eat that with that reference, we feel so much gratitude and we feel so much fulfillment. And it needs some training to be able to feel that. It's not come like this. It's not come like this. It's come from the heart, and it needs some trainings. So this is the first consumption. So we can look at which consumption, which things that bring me well-being and also bring well-beings to my environment. Yeah. This is very interesting because for me, I don't want to practice based on guilt. I don't want to practice based on obligatory. For me, I really practice through understanding and insight of interbeing that allow me to take decision based on love and based on understanding. I don't want to take a decision based on fear. I don't want to take decision based on guilt for my life. For example, in the past, I really like sparkling water. So in the past, I always have some stock of sparkling water in my corner. And the more I drink with awareness, the more I see it is not fair, because the water, it costs nothing, but then the impact is very long, the plastic bottle. And somebody has to take care of it for a very long time, and a very complicated process and a very delicate process. And for me, it does not worth to have that momentary, pleasant feeling of drinking sparkling water with a very long consequence and process and expensive, delicate things to process. And if there's a place that has not enough budget in the country, they will not treat that waste. It's not about the price of how much that bottle costs, but the impact. And looking at that slowly, I can feel voluntarily stop that action or just consume it when there is a very special time, a very special moment for a celebration. Probably, I don't know how many times a year, very, very little. Yeah. This is what I love from Thai also, the way he encouraged us to look at the consumption. It's not black and white. It's always invitation to look deeply and have your own understanding, and then you have your agency to take your own decision. And for me, that is a non-violent action towards ourselves. And there are more things, from vegetarian to from non-vegetarian to be vegetarian, and any diet that we want to change. Yeah. I have my aspiration that the more I get older, I hope that my food will be more simple and simple and simple and simple. And one day maybe just boil something is good enough. Yeah. We don't need to involve the sea, we don't need to involve any plants to go inside. Yeah. Something very simple, very natural, and can get in touch directly with what I'm eating. Yeah. Yesterday I cook and you taste the food, maybe you say, this is very good pasta, but actually you don't really eat the pasta, you eat the garlic. That's why you say it's good. Yeah. So even a good food for me is now is like, I don't know, maybe we don't really connect with the real food that we want to eat. Maybe if you just eat pasta, you can really taste a very nice pasta, probably. Or when you eat vegetable, the boiled vegetable, you just eat boiled vegetable. Maybe you can get in touch deeply with the broccoli. Yeah. But we are not going to the direction of asceticism. Huh? Sometimes in the practice of spirituality, we can go to one extreme to the other extreme. And we have to be careful with that. We always find a balance and find a middle way. And the second is sensorial food. What we see, we consume. What we hear, we consume. What we think, the thinking in Buddhism is also a sense. Our mind is also, we consume with our mind. Our thinking, we eat our thinking basically. And most of the thinking are coming from searching for security. Because in our mind there's one part that is constantly insecure. Because this part of the mind is only welcoming experienced comfortable thing. So there's something comfortable and you already experienced before, then you feel safe. But there's something new that you never experienced, then you feel unsafe. Yeah. So that part of the mind will think over and over again about one thing, multiple things, random thing, and that is just for you to feel safe. Yeah. And that is why when we do sitting meditation, sometimes we may have a lot of thinking. It is because the body does not feel safe and the mind does not feel safe because you don't move. Normally you are very active and suddenly you don't move. You just sit there, doing nothing for 30 minutes. It's not very normal for the body and it's not very normal for the mind. So the mind tries to run away. Because your body cannot run away, then your mind run away for you. You start to think all the random things. Yeah. So that's why in meditation we also don't practice violence to our thinking. We know that this is just a reaction of the mind and we can be compassionate with it and we just sit and allow our mind to think, knowing that this is just a reaction and you just need to come back to your breath and your body and your mind will follow you for a while and then it goes again. Yeah. The same with the walking meditation. The mind does not like it because when we do walking meditation, you don't know where to go. Because if you want to go to the dining hall, you know where to go. Then your mind can be like, go to the dining hall. But in the walking meditation, we don't know where to go, we just walk around. And the mind does not like it also. On the top of it, this is too slow. Your mind tells you this is too slow. It's not habit, it's not a habitual walking. So I will run away. And then you will think to find another things. So what we watch is also our food. So the movie that we watch, that is the seed that we water inside of us. If we look at violent film, then the violence inside of us get water. Right now I don't feel angry. It does not mean that I don't have anger. The anger is in the form of seed, is sleeping in my consciousness. But if it get water, it will come out. So it's the same. We may think that, oh, I'm not a violent person. And then we watch the violent images. And that seed will get water and it can grow strongly inside of us. Or sadness, or any kind of seed, because our mind has all kind of seed, wholesome and unwholesome. Yeah? And we are the gardener. We should be able to look at what we need and what we can cultivate in this present moment. I don't say that we should not watch any movie. So remember, always remember, there's an extreme here and an extreme there. Yeah? There are also some people ask me, like, how do you know if something that I watch or something that I read is toxic? I say everyone toxicity is different. It's very different. Yeah. There are some people, the seed of the suffering has been water for many generations, and some people are not really like that. It depends on which country you come from, which family you come from, how is your environment, and everyone lives in a different way. So the level of the intoxicant depends on each person's life, and that is why the awareness of self-awareness is very important. We cannot make everyone the same. So everyone is different. That's why we need to have self-awareness. Oh, this is too much for me. After reading this, I feel like I cannot sleep, for example. Then we should do some detox about this topic. Nowadays, the social media has algorithm. So once you watch something, and they will select that things for you, and you will constantly water the same seed in a long period of time. And this is something that we are invited to look at and to train our awareness on what we watch. Yeah? We can listen to one sound of the bell. So in the virtual world, I think nowadays we should put some mindfulness training in there, and to practice mindfulness training, we practice mindfulness in the things that we watch. In the society right now, economy has been global, and the state, the government, has a difficulty to catch up with that. And the rules has been too slow to catch up with the global development. And we need to catch up with ourselves too. We need to catch up with our mindfulness to regulate ourselves before we can have like a official regulation, official rules or law set by the government. We need to catch up quick enough with the self-awareness, and we need that in all aspects, in the business, in the consumption, in all the things that in our life, very, very quick, the development of economy. So the self-awareness becomes very important to train and to look at the situation so that we can have some level of freedom to arrange our life. We know that we interact with everything, we cannot be free completely, but there is a way to train ourselves to be free from unnecessary things. So our senses is very important. It's a very important commodity. It's very expensive things right now, especially our attention. So if we can protect our attention, we can protect a very precious part of us, that we can give this attention to the right place. Like those who have family, you can put your attention right to your family. If you have a career, you can put your attention to your career. So you don't split your attention in all the places. Because now all the things is try to catch your attention. Yeah. Our attention need to be as intelligent as the fastest fish in the sea that cannot get caught. We need to train in that way. It has to be very, very quick to run away from any trap. Yeah. And in order to do that, you need to have a collective consciousness. The third one is the volition. There is someone who has a few companies and have family and have some charity organization, and that person can still live his life with the same time, 24 hours, like other people. And there are some people just take care of themselves, they are not capable. Yeah. So what happened? Yeah, what happened? Are that person eat more meals than the other one? Yeah. Is the one that has more capable? Is this person has 26 hours per day and that one has 24? So this is pretty much depends on the aspiration inside of us. What is the purpose in our life? When we don't have aspiration, it's very difficult to live. Life becomes very long. Even just 50 years is very long. But when we have aspiration, 50 years is too short. Even 100 is still too short to live. So it pretty much depends on our volition. The life force, the energy that we have, it depends on our aspiration. Yeah. Taking care of our family can be an aspiration. It can be a great joy. If you have children, grow up your children can be a great joy. Yeah. But you need to have volition. Yeah. And it depends pretty much on your thinking. If you see your children is an obstacle for your life, then it becomes a burden. If your family become the obstacle for your own self or your own career, then you don't have much energy. You can be burnt out as a family builder. Yeah. It's the same with our career. It's the same with our work. We need to find the purpose. Why I do this? Why I do that? Because that why will give us energy or will drain our energy. It depends on how how we set up our aspiration. Yeah. As a monk, and I think that I live in monastery sometime, from time to time, not all the time. From time to time, I feel like I get trapped and I want to go out to do something. Yeah. But when I am able to make the connection of my life and what is happening outside, it gives me purpose, it gives me energy, and it gives me strength to live in a monastery. Yeah. Like for example, right now, in order to have enough energy for me to continue my path and also to serve the community, I need to have the right thinking, I need to have the right aspiration. And it has to do with what happened in the world too. Yeah. Let's say nowadays there are many people talk about burning out in their life. And for me, I need to have that experience too. Not looking for it and not intentionally cause me into burnout, but I need to see what stressed me out in my service and to identify why this can happen and how can recover from that. Then I see my life in monastery can help the world outside. There are many people have we call it romantic idea, romantic image about monastic life. We think that we are in peace all the time, meditate and drink tea the whole day. Yeah. I remember the first day when I start my training as monastic. In my teacher at that time, my mentor, he gave the class on monastic life. He told us that you should know that you come to this tradition, that you are engaging in a retreat monastery. So your life will always have retreat. And you're constantly offering retreat. And there should not be a complaint about that. And you have time to resign too, if you would like to. And not only retreat, but also travel. You will travel and travel and travel and travel. And there is no complaint about too much travel. So we are given that image that your life will not sitting in the cave or on the top of the mountain, look at the cloud and drink your tea every day. So it's a very active and very engaged career that we are engaging. At the beginning, I don't really understand why we need to be that busy. But slowly I see that this is a responsibility as a human being on earth. And as a monk, we have or nuns, we have the privilege to invest our life into that and to engage in what happened in the world. Yeah. So to also experimenting on how to go against the stream in the world, yeah. And to find ways to against the stream. And this is the things that we share out to invite more people to have more awareness and what change we can make, because this world is belong to all of us. We live together in this world and we want to have this world to be a better place. And that's why we want to do small things to change little bit by little bit to improve the human life. And that improvement is not only for us, but our new generation, our children, our next generation. And we want to have that as long as possible. So our action is also a transmission, it's not just action. Yeah? So that volition is very important, and for me, I always check my aspiration every year, or every 2 years, every 3 years, and allow it to evolve too, to change slowly. Yeah. When I become a monk, the very first time, I have the most ridiculous reason why I want to be a monk. I remember that thought very clearly until today. I asked myself, why you want to be a monk? And you have to give me a good reason for me to let go all my career, let go my family, and come to become a monk. And at that time, I got a very good answer, luckily, that helped me to decide, which is, if you say yes, you will have holiday every day. So I said, that is a good deal. And of course, it's not really true. Yeah. But of course, I feel like I have space and time to explore life and explore humanity, and I allow it to grow by times. Now it's more than 10 years, and that reason has changed, has evolved into many other things. Right now, my job is to live my life. I also live the life of others, and to engage myself to what is happening around me, not only my world. So my world I can enlarge my world. And this morning, as I speak, maybe some of you has been like, do a checklist that, yeah, this is me, yeah, this is, I agree, and this is also happened to me. It is because I'm not only listen to myself, but I also have to listen to the young generation. I have to listen to what is happening right now. I have to listen to the suffering of the people around. And to look at myself also, do I have that suffering? Maybe I have that suffering too. And I need to work on that, to apply the teaching so that we can help each other, to support each other. And the last one is the consciousness. And this is very interesting, the consciousness. This is something called unconscious consumption. Wherever we go, we consume something. For example, when you go to the train station, there's a different consciousness. And when you come here in the Healing Spring, you have a different consciousness. If you go to your workplace, also have a different consciousness. There are places that have the collective consciousness is peace and tranquility. There are places that you go, you feel the boiling energy. And there are places you go there, like super competitive. There's a place when you go there, there's like a massive confusion is happening. All different places, all different groups, it gives you a different consciousness. And in fact, we look at this weekend, for example, we consume a different kind of consciousness. And it is not given by the monks, it's given by yourself, in between you. How you connect with each other, how you have a conversation, how we do things together. And that collective energy is very different from the other collective energy, because everyone comes with the same volition, which is looking for peace, stopping for the busyness, want to look a little bit on yourself. And so that kind of energy, like self-care energy, is very present. And when we have self-care energy, when we come to meet each other, then we feel this caring energy collectively. And if everyone come back to their breathing and relax their body, then we have this collective energy of mindfulness and relaxation also in that space. And this is something that we can consume from time to time. if possible, often. And we know this is not something that you just, go somewhere and you can get it. Actually, you can co-create it, these things. And this weekend is a co-creation. Without your presence, we will not have this collective energy. And that's why in this tradition, when we finish the retreat, normally we encourage the people to look for the local community. You can find it in the website called Local Network or Local Sangha. Or nearby your place, if there's no one, you cannot find one, then you can create one too. You create a space where people can come together and meditate together. You don't need to be a teacher, you don't need to be a guru. Yeah? You are just facilitating for the meeting to be possible. It can start from your acquaintance, your friends, or you open it for public, whoever would like to sit with you for 1 hour or 30 minutes and have some sharing. In Plum Village, we have the app that can help you to guide the sitting meditation. You don't even need to guide the sitting meditation. Can help you to guide the deep relaxation. You don't even have to lead. And there are a bunch of Dharma talk in the YouTube, in our Plum Village app that we can use to listen together. So we really don't have to be a guru in the gathering. So there's no pressure to be a teacher or something. We just need to provide a space that everyone come together and do the things together. Or you come to the retreat once in a while, yeah. To have a change consciousness a little bit, to rest. And sometimes we don't need to do much in order to nourish ourselves and to restore our peace. This is like a wounded animal. They just need to rest. They stop eating, do nothing, and to heal themselves. And when we come here, we come back to our breathing, we do sitting, we do walking. You don't have to think about how to plan your day, the monastery plan your day, so that you have a sense of stopping. Yeah. And the monastery cook 3 meals for you, so you don't need to think, oh, what should I eat in the morning, what should I eat in the lunch, what should I eat in the dinner. Yeah. That kind of thing you take out from your headspace. Yeah. So these are all the things that we can do to create a collective consciousness, to nourish ourselves, to get some healthy consciousness to nourish us. And the last things that I would like to share is, just to awareness of mental health. In the Buddha's time, the teaching of the Buddha is not about reaching enlightenment only, but in that time there are many mental difficulty that he helps too. People who lost all of their family, that have a great grief in their life until they lost their consciousness, or the people who has done a terrible things, that haunted by their own guilt and feeling paranoia and things like this. And they train themselves to stop, to come back to themselves and to claim back their agency, to look into themselves. Yeah. And that's why the teaching of the Buddha is not only the body, but also the mind. Yeah. In one of the Buddhist psychology, there's one verses called How the Minds Operate. Yeah, this is very interesting. It says that the mind can operate in 5 ways. The first is what your senses get in touch with, your mind also get in touch with that object. Let's say when you look at the flower, your mind also look at the flower. But you also can look at the flower and your mind look at your project. Yeah, so there are two functions at least. So the mind can work with your sense organ, or your mind can be independent from yourself, from your sense organ. The third one is the mind also can work in a dispersed way. So the mind is not, can also has a possibility to be dispersed. So when your mind dispersed, you know this is the one of the function of your mind. And the third is concentrated. So the mind also have its capacity to be concentrated. But in this training, we want to be concentrated in something more beneficial. And sometimes we are concentrated more in the non-beneficial concentration, such as when you are angry with someone, you are very concentrated because your mind is only thinking about that person, right? And your mental discourse is about how to punish this person. Or when you lose someone, and then you just think about that person day after day. Yeah. Or when you have a terrible project, and day and night you just have a project in your brain, in your mind. So that is also a kind of concentration. You only have one thing. But we also want to have one thing for a nourishing thing in the mind. Like, for example, to be aware of your health. Your body is not painful. You can walk, you can see, you can eat. And that is all the good condition that we can concentrate on, because it gives us happiness and gives us fulfillment in the present moment. And the last one is the mind also can possibly unstable. Yeah. So unstable state of mind, it can be very dangerous. And this is sometimes happen when we are overwhelmed by our thinking, by our life. Our life sometimes can be like a washing machine. Like we are in the washing machine, get turned around and around. Yeah? And when it is like this, and the mind has been fed up, it will go out from its track and then become unstable. Yeah? You may have like hundreds of images per second or something like this. And this can make us, it can create a mess in our system. Yeah? And they are all can happen in the mind. And this is how the mind is functioning. So we can organize a little bit so that we strengthen some part of our mind so that we can restore. Because sometimes the mess in the mind is not because we want it to be like this. Sometimes the life condition that make us become mess. But then if you are trained to be concentrated, then you have a chance to recover as quick as possible. Yeah. In the practice of spirituality, we are not trying to run away from any problem. We are not trying to live a life that has no problem. That is impossible. But we want to live a life that we can face the challenge that we have in our daily life by have some other skill that can balance ourselves, can have self-awareness, can have self-care, can have self-compassion, can have self-love, in order for us to balance ourselves. Because when we are balanced, then we also can help the people surrounding us. So I hope that everyone can continue your practice, because this is for you, for your own benefit, and also the benefit of the people that you love and the one that love you. As a human being, we cannot live alone. Yeah. And finding a community like this is very important to nourish our mind, our body, especially nowadays with so much things happening at the same time in the real time. It's good to find space to like this to kind of balance ourselves, to rest our life a little bit. And to end my session, I have a song to offer. And then, so this song is about, I'm always trying to listen to people's voice and the suffering of nowadays, and somehow these are the sentences that come out when I listen deeply to my environment, and to try to find some light to it and to balance the voices, the voices of suffering. I always believe that there is always a way to overcome difficulty. I don't know why there's so much pain in my heart. I feel like a part of me lost in the rain, and running and searching where I belong, and running and searching where I belong, where I belong. Missing love that is not there, regretting moment that has gone, and fearing the one yet to come, and fearing the one yet to come, yet to come. Criticizing what I'm not, I've been so hard on who I have been. Learning from you that I have enough, I am able to forgive. And learning from you that I have enough, I am learning to forgive. I breathe in hope, I breathe out all my fear. I breathe in hope, I'm finally home. I walk with love, I walk in peace. I walk with love, I feel free. In every breath, in every step, I am free. In every breath, in every step, I am free. Ooh, yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh, yeah, 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 yeah. I breathe in hope, I breathe out all my fear. I breathe in hope, I'm finally home. I walk with love, I walk in peace. I walk with love, I feel free. In every breath, in every step, I am free. In every breath, in every step, I am free. Looking at your smile, I have arrived. I have found my home in you, and now